What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over this TST wheels, and this one's called the Buddy, the good old Buddy. You know what? I have the Defender. Why not get his little buddy here? And what this is more the smaller 20 by 4 inch fat tire e-bike. This is actually a foldable e-bike, just so you know. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the specs, and then I'll go through a quick walkthrough, and I'll take it for a ride test, and I'll come back here and I'll give y'all my final thoughts of this little TST Buddy. Because you know what? I've been riding the TST bikes and I have been very impressed with them, so why not give you another review of the Buddy. Okay, so we'll start here with the battery. This has a 48 volt 10 amp hour battery. It is a removable battery. You basically just pull this switch right here, and during the folding process you use the key right here to actually remove the battery. By the way, you need the key in here to start this, and I will go over that here in a minute. You know, range is always subjective. I would say anywhere from 30 to 60 miles, so 45 maybe is a good range to aim for, and that's using pedal assist and just kind of like doing normal type of riding, you know, not wide open like me. And the battery charging time is anywhere between 4 and 5 hours to get a complete charge on this. And if you want to charge it, here's where you're going to charge it at. You can remove the battery, or you could just pull this little plug right here and charge it through there. That plug's a little wonky to get back in, but you know what? It does go back in. Once you remove the battery, it kind of, make sure you pull that plug before you remove the battery, or you'll kind of knock that little tip off there. So that's just a tip for you to knock the tip off. So it's a hub driven motor, and the other one that I used was the Suto motor. This one just says branded TST wheels. They have it right here. It's a class 2, 20 miles per hour, 750 watt. But looking in their owner's manual, I see right here, you know, the TST Buddy, and they've got it as a 500 watt sustained brushless motor. So I'm kind of confused on that. Maybe TST, you know what, they just reusing a sticker here, but it's we'll just say it's a 500 watt, 1000 peak watt motor, and I think they're reusing the same sticker that might be on the Defender. That's just my theory anyway. So don't go by that. I think it's a 500 watt, 1000 watt peak motor, which is about normal on a bike of this size, which gives you a top range of 20 miles per hour, but it is unlockable, and I have this one up to almost 30 miles per hour. It's 28 miles per hour on its top speed with a Newton meters of around about 60 Newton meters, which to me comes more back to a 500 watt motor instead of a 750 watt motor. So the total weight on the actual bike is 65 pounds with a capacity weight between 350 and 500. That's very subjective on that. I would say 300 pounder would have no problem on this bike right here. And that's also using a front basket and the back cargo rack right here. By the way, this bag does not come with it. I'll get into that on the walkthrough right there. Rider height, they recommend anywhere from 4'11" up to 6'4". So that's a good rider height, and I could definitely believe that because this seat goes down very low right here. It's a very low setting seat, which gives you a height of about right there. So that's pretty common on that. The geometry from here to here is very short. Think about this. So your leg's going to be here and your seat's here. So it's got a very short geometry while you're sitting on it and riding it. So there's a quick run through of the specs. Let me go ahead and start with the walkthrough. Okay, starting back here at the back tire. So there is no back light on this, no tail light. There's a reflector of light right here. So what I did, I just put one of these little lights on here. These are very affordable, pretty easy package to get. I got this and the headlight, and I'll leave a link below where you can pick up this Vestafire kit right there. The tires on this thing are Chow Yang. They're 20 by 4 inch tires. This is a good size tire, all around top tread on there. I don't see any problems with that tread. So plastic fenders on there. It's got a rack back here. So this rack comes installed on there. I put my bag on here, so this bag does not come with it, but I recommend getting a bag like this. They're very handy to have. Carry all your tools, parts, whatever you need in there. 7-speed tourney Shimano derailleur. These tourney derailleurs are kind of like standard on all these e-bikes. A lot of times on the e-bikes, you don't have to worry about gears as much. So a tourney derailleur is just fine on there. Derailleur guards, always nice to see. You can see this 7-speed. Went over the motor there. Brakes on this thing is 160 millimeter rotors with mechanical disc brakes. You know what? It's not a heavy bike, being a little over 60 pounds. Mechanical disc brakes are just fine for this. Obviously, I like hydraulic disc brakes more, but mechanical disc brakes on a bike of this size, I don't see any issues on that. The geometry on this thing's kind of cool when you look at it. It's got a kind of this straight on geometry. The way the frame goes down like this, you can see. So there's no actual thing for the chain to bang on. I like how they did this geometry right here. Kind of a larger chain ring. This looks like it might be a 48 or 52 tooth chain ring, which is a larger chainring. I always like seeing that. Has this handle right here for when you fold it up. You know, that's how you can carry it around. Up and down seat, pretty easy. The seat it looks nice. It's a little stiff right here, but you know what? After riding it for a while, I don't see any issues with it. Has a handle back here for kind of picking it up and hauling the thing around. So moving on here to this key. So the key can be removed when it's parked, but you're going to need it to ride it. So to turn it on, you're basically just going to turn it, and as long as it's flat right there, it's ready to start. So that's off and then out, and you'll need this to remove the battery too. So that's in the on position. Make sure you can see right there when it's elongated like that, it's in the on position. Does not come with a water bottle holder. I put the holder on there, but it does come tapped, so you can put one on there. Plastic fender in the front, no issues with that. It has a removable tire. You can take that tire off to get it down even smaller. Comes with these little spring shocks. You can do some light duty stuff like a little gravel roads like I'm on here, but don't think you're going to be getting this for off-road, which is to be expected for a bike of this size anyway. Same headlight that was on the Defender. You know what, a little small headlight. It works, but I get these Vestafire lights. I always mention in my videos how I get an aftermarket headlight. This one's the VA B01, and it's a very bright headlight. It also comes with this little brake light, so you have the full package right there. So this little thing right here bounced around on me, and what I did, I just got some VHB tape and stuck some tape in there. This handlebar is foldable. You can fold these down. You can go up and down with this part right here, so it's got up and down adjustment, and it folds it to get even smaller. So moving on up here to the cockpit area, or you know what, the handlebars. Locking hand grips. Always like seeing locking hand grips. You're not turning those. Very nice gnarled hand grips. Left-sided thumb throttle. There is a reason they do thumb throttle on the left, because they have a shifter on the right. This is one of these twisting shifters. I use this on the Defender bike, and I kind of got used to it. It's very easy to shift. I've always mentioned I'm a bigger fan of triggers right here, left and right triggers like that, but this works just fine for me. Sometimes you do some accidental shifting, but it's not major on a bike like this. That's no problem at all. I actually prefer this on a bike of this style like this. Brake levers were easy to mash. They're in a good spot right there. They're not hydraulic, but you know what? They can definitely stop. They can lock the tires up and stop this bike pretty easy. Let's move on to this display here. So to turn this thing on, make sure your key is in the on position there, and then go ahead and hit the button right there. You hold it down for a few seconds. See, there's the power button right there. I don't know how well you can see this in the camera. Has 0 and 0, and then when you want to go through the modes, hit this little exclamation button. There's the tripometer, gives you the odometer, and then that's pretty much it. So you have everything that you need on there. Tripometer, odometer, good enough. And then hold down this headlight button. The headlight does come on. You guys can see right there, you got a little headlight on. That does work. There is a code to unlock this to get it up to like 28 miles per hour. I covered that in my Defender video. If you want to go over, I'm not going to go over it again. If you want to see that, go over to my Defender video. I marked it as a chapter. I will leave a link at the end of this video for that, so you could see the code on how to unlock this. But check it out. So let's go. We got 1 through 5, minus, plus. You can go into gear 5. 31 miles an hour is what it peaked up at. Hit the brakes. There we go. We don't want to set it down and take off on us. The display is kind of small, just like the Defender, but you know what? It's for what it is, and the price point of this bike, I don't see any issues with that display at all. I think it's just fine. Okay, there's the specs and the walkthrough of all the parts and components on this thing. Let's get this thing out on the trail and do a quick little ride test. I'll do my normal thing of just kind of like using a little bit of off-road. Then we'll do the pedal assist 1 through 5. Then I'll take it over to the hill, see how it does on some hill climbing, and then I'll come back here, give you my final thoughts of the TST Buddy. So let's get to trail riding now. Okay, let's go. Let's give this thing a test. So I went ahead and put my GPS meter on here, so we'll actually get to see how fast it goes. One thing about having throttle like this, you can just kind of like take off, get going a little bit, and then you are good to go. So let's go back down to 1. You can hear that shock up there. It does work, but obviously, like I said in the walkthrough, it's not like a full-on like good shock for off-roading. I think it's adequate for what it is. It handles little gravel roads like this okay. I don't see issues with it at all. Let's go down. See how that trigger shifter works? Pretty good on that. Let's get this thing up to speed. Obviously, we are in the unlock mode, so let's see how fast we can get it going. Okay, out here on the main road now, let's go up here. And first off, as I normally do, I'll go into 0 mode. So riding it as a normal bike. Notice that the 20x4s are not as stable as the 26x4s. Just as a normal bike, once again, this one feels great too. I can hold 10 to 15 miles an hour. I can probably get it up to 20 if I really go a little faster. Just so you know, it's got a lower riding position than most bikes, but that's why I can fit that 411 type frame. 10 to 15 miles an hour as a normal bike, no problem with that. Let me go up here, get up here on the flat ground. I'll put it in pedal assist 1. We'll go through all the pedal assist. Actually, let's start with the throttle. Okay, complete stop. We're going to do throttle only. I'm going to go ahead and go up and pedal assist 5. There we go. No feet on the pedals. Well, no pedaling. I'll put them on the pedals. I'm not using them. 14, 15,000 watt peak of power on this thing. 17. 20. Now it's unlocked, so it passed 20. There it is. 23 there, 23 there. Wow, these are spot on. GPS and that. Kind of get in a little more tucked on this. 25. Can we get 25 out of this? It seems to stop the power right at 25. It's spiked up to 25, and it's still giving full power, but I don't think it's going to go faster than 25. There it is, throttle only, 25 miles an hour. Hit the brakes, see how they work. Woo. Pedal assist 1. Let's get it started. Let's go to gear 3, pedal assist 1. Last time, I think the controller stops the power right at about 10. You can see, even though I'm going faster than 10, there's no power. Y'all see that? There's no power on the display. So when I went below 8 miles an hour, it seemed to kick the power back in. So we can say 8 to 10 on pedal assist 1. Same way with pedal assist 2. Once again, the way the controllers work on these TST, it seems like, yeah, look, 15. Once I get to 15, the power drops. 15, 17 miles an hour, the power drops, turn around. like I said on the Defender, it actually goes pretty quick in like 2, 3, and 4. So it shut the power off at 20. Gear, pedal assist 3, kick the power back in at 20. I'm starting to ghost pedal at like 23, 24. Now I feel a little bit of resistance there. 23, it's pulling the power back. Pedal assist 4. 22 is all I'm going to get out of 4. 5. Yeah, the only thing between 4 and 5 is a little bit of power kick between 22 and 25. So there's all the pedal assists from 0 to actual all the way up to 5 in the throttle mode. So it's got 3 modes of operation: throttle only, pedal assist, and just normal bike. So let's take it over here to the hill and see how it pulls this little schoolhouse hill, and that lets me know how much power this thing has. Everybody, this is where this bike feels at home, is on the bike trails like this. If you're looking for a bike that's good for bike trails, I think this is the way to go. This was where it feels at home. I will take it off-road up here, but obviously this is not what it should be used for, but let's do it anyway. I always take the bikes usually down through this. That front shock bottoms out pretty easy on these big ruts up here. It's not that it won't do it, it just doesn't do it as well as like the Defender will. Let's try it out. Pedal assist 5, gear 7. What can we get it to? Well, we're showing 25 on there. I got it to 31. Yeah, obviously that's going downhill. I think 28's realistic. Test out these mechanical disc brakes. I think that's pretty good. Let's turn around and go back up the hill. Throttle only. It's doing it, but it's not, it's doing it around about, to me, I've ridden enough e-bikes, this definitely feels like around about a 500 watt motor. 11 miles an hour, don't get me wrong, it's still doing it. But the Defender was already up to like 20 miles an hour. Throttle only uphill right there. That was pretty easy. You know what, if it does throttle only at 13 all the way to the top, that's definitely good enough for 98% of the people out there. Hit this little off-road right here. As long as you keep the speed decent on these off-roads, it's not bad. The problem is when you try to go fast. But telling me I have to slow down is not normal. Yeah, see, this is fine. This is completely okay. Get it up top speed right there at that power line. Let's stop it. Locked them up. You know what? There's the Defender line right here. That's almost exactly the same distance as the Defender, which is kind of crazy. Both of them, I was doing 20 miles per hour. Well, they stop. They're a little harder to mash because they are mechanical. I had to give it a lot more. With the Defender, it was one finger. But with these, you use the whole hand, like really pull down on. But I think for what it is, it does just fine. Okay, everybody, there's the ride test. Let me go up here and give you my final thoughts of this little TST Buddy. Let me tell you who it's good for or who it might not be good for. So let's do that now. I think it'd be great for anybody that's looking kind of like for a budget style, a little small foldable fat tire e-bike that can kind of like do on and off road. Not so much off road, but more around city, running errands, maybe some little beach riding or something like that, or just around your park. I think this thing would be excellent for that. And especially if you're a shorter rider. So if you're around that 4'10" range to maybe 6 foot, I think it'd be a good size for you too, where it's not overly heavy. It's nothing that you have to lug around. It's easy to get on and off of, and it gets down into a very small package. So if you're looking for a bike that can tuck down and get inside where you're putting it maybe in the back seat of a car or in an apartment or something, I think this little Buddy's the way to go. Who I think it might not be good for, if you're looking for an off-road beast, like if you're looking to be doing jumps and really kind of pushing off-road, I recommend going ahead and looking into the TST Defender over this Buddy, because I don't think it's made so much for off-road. The shock isn't designed to take those kinds of impact. They're designed for basic potholes, curbs, and getting over trails, and maybe gravel and stuff it'd be okay on. Top speed, I actually got it to 31, but I think realistically 25 to 27, 28. Average speed was around about 10. Pretty easy on that. I felt it had enough torque to go up any normal size hills. You're not going to be taking up big, huge inclines, but I think any kind of regular size trail hills, you're going to be fine on that. Everybody, I will leave links below where you can get one of these TST Buddies or the Defender or some of the gear that I'm using here. And actually leave a comment below if you've used one of these TST Buddies. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say and see what your opinion is of this bike and the TST brand in general, because I've had really good success out of the Defender. I've only had this Buddy for around about maybe a month now, and I've ridden it off and on, but overall I think it's been doing really good for what it is. So yeah, there it is, everybody. That's all I got today on the TST foldable fat tire e-bike. See you all in the next video.